Welcome to another round of the Red Clay Soccer Report, powered by our friends at NoFo Brewing. John Nelson here with you. What we'll do this time around is we are out of most of the conference tournaments in the lower divisions and in the NAIA. They're heading to their postseason overall tournament. And we'll let you know what's going on in Division III and on the men's side and the women's side through the prism of Emory University. We'll also catch up with what's going on in Division I in the SoCon, because they went longer than 90 minutes, and it almost went longer than 120, save for one moment in particular. Our Maddie Cruz and Gabe Schrei on the call for that one, courtesy of our friends at ESPN+. We'll play that golden goal for you coming up in just a little bit. But first off, we'll go back to NCAA Division III, let you know what's going on there. And once again, we'll start it off through Emory University in the women's tournament, looking at the bracket in and of itself. You have to go all the way down into the low right section so you can keep an eye on what's going on with Emory. Emory in the opening round, hosting at the Woodruff PEC, got a 6-0 win over Belhaven, coming in with a record of 15-1-1, Emory did. And Belhaven coming in with a record of 14-4-2. And so Belhaven out of the CCS, it would be a long day for the Blazers, as Caitlin Nimmer would get a goal in the 14th minute. Sienna Elder would follow up with one in the 31st, and it would be 2-0 at the break. Michelle Davidson would get a goal in the 53rd minute, assist by Madison Tang, 63rd and 64th, so you had two goals within 54 seconds of each other. Emery Bazzuti from Nimmer and Nimmer from Melina Ramirez made it 4 and 5. Zia Tomlin got goal number 6, the assist by Samantha Lim. 6-0 the final on the afternoon, and Emory would advance into the round of 32. The round of 32. Emory on the day, 6 goals, 33 shots compared to 2 for Belhaven, 18 on target and 2 on target for Belhaven. So 9 corners, 5 offside. And it would be 12 saves for Belhaven on the afternoon on those 18 shots. But it would be advancing out of round number 1, Emory University, and they would get the win there, and they would advance into the second round. But after the match in and of itself, Emory their own selves caught up with Caitlin Nimmer, and it was a very, very busy afternoon for the Emory Eagles. Here is Emory's postgame, their own selves.
Hello, I'm here with Caitlin and Sienna. So how did such a high-scoring offensive game impact y'all's momentum going into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, so I think just as we keep moving on in the tournament, you're going to be scoring less and less goals as you play better teams. So just getting a bunch early on just gives us confidence as we move forward for tomorrow. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then, Sienna, how did it feel to get your first career goal?
Amazing. Obviously, in a game like this where it's super high stress and it's very important, it was a huge deal. And just, with the support and, cheering my teammates, it was such a great environment to have this.
And SDH Network caught up with head coach Sue Patberg after the match to get her thoughts as well. So you saw the sheet. What'd you see?
I was looking at our shots, our goals, shots on goal, and to see if how our shooting was with what if we were scoring or making her make saves. So it was better, a lot better than where we started at the beginning of the year. So.
5 different goal scorers today, 6 on the board. I know that this is more like an instant reaction question, but some of the takeaways from the first round would be what?
Well, I was really excited to see us, we were a little quiet, I thought, in the first half, a little low energy. So I'm really excited to see us come back and score 4 goals in the second half. Loved getting to, wish we could have played all 34 of our players. That's always the big tough part about the NCAA tournament. But thought we played some really good soccer, moved the ball well, created some dangerous chances. Thought we could have had a couple more just near misses, but it was awesome to create them.
After the win over Belhaven, that meant that Emory was waiting for the winner of Rhodes and Brevard. It would end up being Rhodes, 2-0 winners in the opening round. Then Sunday afternoon, Emory, it would take a while, but Emory would get the Duke, winning 2-0 in that match as well to get into the Sweet 16. Goals by Caitlin Nimmer and Madison Tang would be what would be the goals on the board for the Eagles. In the 57th, it would be Nimmer from Madison Tang, and then Madison Tang gets a goal on her own in the 73rd. So a 2-0 win for Emory. We caught up with, once again, Sue Patberg after the match, and Madison Tang on her performance with the goal and the assist.
Yes, Maddie! Okay, Maddie!
All right, so what was it like out there today?
I think we started off a little slow, but I think we knew we needed to come out there in the second half and make it happen, and we did, and I'm really proud of us.
So obviously the quick turn after match yesterday, what was it like, say, the first 15, 20 minutes? Did it take a little while to get the engine turned over to where you guys think you were putting the pressure on them and having them on their back heels?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think it was definitely a little slow the first 15 minutes, and I think we should definitely work on that for the next game. But I'm glad that we picked it up, like I said, after, and we got it together. So
run through the goal for me and what it was like. And you sit there and it's like, oh, I think I'll go to the left, and I think I'll dodge. What was it?
Yeah, well, I saw Riley's ball coming in, and once I got past the player, there's nothing like a 1v1 and the anticipation of going up against a goalkeeper. And I think we've practiced it enough times in practice that I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a touch and go around the goalkeeper, and that's what I did. So, yeah.
How do you think they responded coming back on the short term? Because I know that when you were talking to them after the first match this weekend, you were like, focus on recovery, make sure that you're good, 100%. How do you think they responded out of the blocks?
Yeah, I think the physical. I think we recovered. I think we recovered well. I just think we didn't. The first half we were not really moving off the ball well. We weren't challenging physically. We weren't getting first to the ball. We just were average. We were average in the first half.
So when you talk to him after the first 45, what'd you tell him?
Just got to raise the level. It was our level was unacceptable for who we are, and we needed to physically raise the level. Our first touch was letting us down. We got to move off the ball. We got to be more creative. Just the entire effort needed to change, and it did in the second half. And that's who we are.
So then the lessons that you take from these first two wins to carry forward, do you think, are what?
Well, I think today was a great lesson, especially today, because you can't just walk on the field and think, it's just going to happen for you. You got to make it happen for yourself. You have to decide what do you want the outcome to be. And Rhodes gave us a hard time in the first half. They played great, and we were in. So, got much better, and I think that's a big lesson for the next round.
So then that means that Emory is now going to take on Johns Hopkins. And Johns Hopkins, they won over St. John Fisher 2-0. They beat Stevens 2-0, and so they advance as well. So you have the rest of the run in the low right part of the bracket. It's Emory and Johns Hopkins. It is Washington Lee and Pomona Pitzer. Also on the board, low left, Swarthmore and Carleton. Swarthmore won in PKs over Case Western Reserve. Carleton beat Lake Forest. And then it was the University of Chicago, the Maroons, 3-1 winners over Wisconsin La Crosse. They take on Cal Lutheran, who knocked off Trinity of Texas by the score of 2-1. That's the low part of the bracket. Upper left part of the bracket, Messiah and Calvin. Calvin 2-1 winners in overtime over Illinois Tech, and Messiah 1-0 winners over Amherst. Upper left, it is Wash U out of the conference, the UAA that Emory is in as well. Wash U knocks off North Central of Illinois 5-1. MIT beat Colby 1-0. And in the upper right, Tufts beating Wesleyan of Connecticut after shutting out Leslie. Middlebury comes through after beating Rochester 2-1 and shutting out Westfield State. And it's Mary Washington after advancing in PKs over Williams. Penn State Harrisburg 1-0 winner over Rowan. More on Rowan in a bit. So you have your round of 16, it is Wash U and MIT, Messiah and Calvin upper left. It is Tufts and Middlebury, Mary Washington and Penn State Harrisburg upper right. Lower right, Emory, Johns Hopkins, and Washington Lee and Pomona Pitzer, Swarthmore and Carleton, U Chicago and Cal Lutheran. Those are the low left. And that's your rundown of how it's going to be in the round of 16 in Division III on the women's side. Taking a look at how it is going to be in the we're waiting for, obviously, the D2 bracket to come on board, and then the D1 bracket is already well underway. In this particular footprint, University of Alabama is an 8 seed. They're going to take on Stanford in the midweek, and then you also have Wake, Michigan State, Colorado, and Xavier, BYU, and UCLA on the right-hand side of the bracket. Left-hand side of the bracket, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Baylor and Wisconsin, Florida State and Lipscomb, who upset Mississippi State 1-0 as the 6th seed going in, and West Virginia and Georgetown. That is the Women's College Cup in Kansas City, and that's going to be on the 5th and the 8th of December. But to get out and to escape in the upper half of the bracket, that's what you had. Low left, TCU and Memphis, Texas Tech and North Carolina, LSU and Iowa, and we're waiting, and Clemson and Vanderbilt. That's low left. Penn State and Virginia, Washington and Arkansas, Louisville and Kansas, Duke and UCF. That is low right in your bracket. So it is the round of 32 coming up in the midweek across the board. So it looks like it's going to be on the 20th, so that's Thursday. So it looks like it's going to be Thursday, Sunday on the lower half of the bracket and on the upper half of the bracket as well. So the 20th and the 23rd, that's what you're staring at on Division I on the women's side. So let's take a peek real quick. It is 1, 2, let's see. So it's 2 in the ACC, West Virginia in the Sun Belt, 3 in the ACC with Wake Forest. It is 4 in the ACC with Duke. North Carolina is number 5 out of the ACC. LSU is coming out of the SEC. Arkansas out of the SEC. Vandy out of the SEC. 6 in Clemson in the ACC and Virginia. So 7 teams advancing to the round of 32 are out of the ACC and a handful of teams out of the Southeastern Conference. So that is your rundown in Division I, Division II, and Division III. On the men's side, looking at what happened starting off in Division III, as we did before. Once again, Emory University making their way into the round of 16 with wins over the weekend. And to follow up with them, it is Emory over Maryville of Tennessee 3-1, then shutting out Hampton-Sydney on the afternoon 3-0. They're going to take on Rowan. Rowan beat Wesleyan of Connecticut in the second round after knocking out Bridgewater State in the first round. So Emory and Rowan is low right in your bracket. In addition to Lynchburg and Dickinson. Lynchburg went through Virginia, knocked off Transylvania of Kentucky 4-0, then Christopher Newport, who was hosting, by the score of 2-1. Lynchburg advances to take on Dickinson, who beat Denison and North Carolina Wesleyan, scoring 7 goals on the weekend. So that's low right, Emory, Rowan, Lynchburg, and Dickinson. Then left-hand side, low left, St. Olaf out of Minnesota knocking off Luther, is going to take on Williams. Williams beat Scranton 2-1. So St. Olaf and Williams, low left, in addition to McAllister and Wheaton of Massachusetts. McAllister over Wisconsin Eau Claire 2-1. Wheaton shut out Middlebury by the score of 1-0. That's the lower half of your bracket. Upper left, Connecticut College and Bowdoin, with Connecticut College knocking out Babson 2-1. Bowdoin beat UMass Boston 3-2. It was Tufts and Messiah. They're going to be meeting in the next round, with Tufts 1-0 winner in double overtime over Brandeis. Messiah shutting out Calvin by the score of 3-0. Augsburg and Cortland are going to take on each other in the next round. Augsburg shutting out Edgewood. Cortland 2-1 winners over Catholic. And the University of Chicago and Wash U went at it again. On the men's side, Wash U advances, and they're going to take on the winner of Trinity, Texas, and Texas Lutheran, as we're talking on Sunday night. Trinity, Texas leading with about 20 minutes to go. So once again, Division III on the men's side. Upper left, Tufts, Messiah, Connecticut College, and Bowdoin. Right-hand side, upper right, Augsburg, Cortland, Wash U, and looking like Trinity of Texas, barring a comeback from Texas Lutheran. Low left, St. Olaf, Williams, McAllister, and Wheaton, Mass, Emory, and Rowan, Lynchburg, and Dickinson. That is the rundown in Division III. Once again, waiting for the Division II men's bracket to get underway. And on the men's side in Division I, we'll wait for that one to come out as well, because Division I was wrapping up all of their conference play. And the D1 show is going to be on Monday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern time. The 48-team field has 22 automatic qualifiers and 26 at-large bids. The first round is going to be on Thursday, second round on Sunday, third round once again next week. Saturday or Sunday quarters are December 5th and 6th. College Cup's going to be the 12th and the 15th, and that will be in Cary, North Carolina. Last year's champ was Vermont, winning 2-1 in overtime for Rob Dow. Clemson has won 2 of the last 4, and Stanford won 3 in a row back in the mid-teens, 2015, 16, and 17 under Jeremy Gunn. We mentioned one of those. We mentioned Division I because one of those championships went longer than 90 minutes. Courtesy of our friends at ESPN+, here's your SoCon Championship Golden Goal. UNC Greensboro and Furman. Matty Cruz and Gabe Schrei on the call.
Long ball for the spot. Not, and Wilson knocks it away. The golden goal. The Paladins of Furman follow it home to the twine. 1-0 with 3:41 left in overtime 2. Your Southern Conference champions.
Able to capitalize off of the moment. It's Seth Wilson who's able to get the initial save, and then in the follow-through on the rebound, Furman's able to slot it home. I mean, absolutely outstanding. Banging on the door. Furman's been trying it all game long, and they finally find it. They find the game winner, and they are your 2025 SoCon champion.
So that sets everything up in the red clay on the NCAA side of things. In the NAIA, this is where we look at Georgia Gwinnett College. And with Georgia Gwinnett, it was pretty much hosting a lot, running through a lot of the competition, and your national tournament qualifiers right now begin their quest for Orange Beach. Once again, first and second rounds Thursday and Saturday. Dalton State's going to face Warner Pacific in the first round of the West Palm bracket. Fourth-seeded Kaiser awaiting the winner on Saturday. Taking a peek at the teams that qualified on the men's side of things, as everybody once again is chasing their way down to Orange Beach. It is Heart of America, Mid-South, Cascade, and Southern States get 4 institutions into the tournament. Most common mascot is the Wildcats 4 times. Lindsey Wilson makes their 32nd appearance in the tournament. Rio Grande, Ohio enters for the 25th time. La Sierra and Faulkner make their first ever appearances. Harris Stowe qualifies for the first time in 25 years out of downtown St. Louis. You'll have first and second round matches broadcast on the Urban Edge Network, others streamed on host institutions. So that means here's who is in. Baker, Heart of America regular season champ. Bethel won the Crossroads as the tournament champ. Bethel, Tennessee, tournament champ in the Mid-South. Carroll is an at-large out of the Cascade. Concordia, Nebraska, tournament champ out of the Great Plains. At large, Cumberland, Tennessee, Cumberland, Kentucky, and Dalton State out of the SSAC. Cascade regular season champ is Eastern Oregon. Faulkner got in as an at-large. Georgia Gwinnett, tournament champ out of the Continental Athletic Conference. Highlights coming up for men's and women's in a bit. Grace comes into the Crossroads as an at-large. Grandview of the Heart of America as an at-large. Harris Stowe, tournament champ American Midwest. Indiana Tech, tournament champ Wolverine Hoosier. Indiana Wesleyan, at-large, Crossroads. John Brown of Arkansas, Sooner, Athletic, at-large. Kaiser, tournament champ in the Sun. La Sierra, Great Southwest Athletic, tournament champ. Life, SSAC, tournament champ in. Lindsey Wilson, Mid-South, at-large. LSU Alexandria, Red River, at-large. LSU Shreveport, Red River, at-large. Madonna, Michigan, Wolverine Hoosier, regular season champ. Mid-America Nazarene, Heart of America Athletic Tournament champ. Milligan won the Appalachian. They got in on the tournament runner-up. Oklahoma City, Sooner Athletic Tournament champ. Oklahoma Wesleyan, top-ranked team in the country on the men's side. In some polls, Kansas Collegiate Athletic regular season champ. Olivet Nazarene, Chicagoland Tournament champ. Ottawa, Kansas, Kansas Collegiate regular season runner-up. Rio Grande, River State's at-large. Rocky Mount, Montana, Cascade Collegiate at-large. Union Commonwealth, Appalachian regular season champ. Warner Pacific, Cascade tournament champ. Westcliff, Cal Pacific tournament champ. Wiley, HBCU athletic tournament champ. William Carey, at-large out of the Southern States. William Penn, at-large out of Heart of America. West Virginia Tech, River State's tournament champ. And Xavier, Louisiana, Red River regular season champs. So if you look at the bracket for the teams that are here in the footprint here of SDH, Bethel, as the number one in the upper left, is going to wait for the winner of Rocky Mountain Union as the number one seed. Georgia Gwinnett is the 9. They're going to host Rio Grande of Ohio. Cumberland, Tennessee gets the play-in between Carroll and Wiley of Texas. Kaiser of Florida gets the play-in with Dalton State and Warner Pacific as the 4 seed. Faulkner takes on LSU Shreveport at the 13. Xavier, Louisiana, takes on Cumberland's Kentucky at the 12. Life U gets the play-in game winner of LSU Alexandria and Milligan. Right-hand side of the bracket, Oklahoma Wesleyan, the overall number 2 seed. They wait for the play-in, Oklahoma City and Westcliff. William Carey is your 10. They're going to take on John Brown of Arkansas. It is, I'm trying to see if there's any other play-ins. Lindsey Wilson of Kentucky is the 6, and they're going to get the winner of Ottawa and Harris Stowe. So that is the national championship rundown for the NAIA on the men's side. When it comes to the women's side of the tournament, this is where we will let you know what's happening with all of the other NAIA sports that are going on. So as we flag down women's soccer here, once again, we'll let you know what happened with Georgia Gwinnett coming up in just a sec. So the 40 teams on the women's side for the 42nd tournament. Once again, first and second round matchups, of some available on Urban Edge Network, others streamed through host institutions. National tournament field, 2 first-timers, Holy Cross of Indiana, after winning the Chicagoland Collegiate, and Talladega, the Tornadoes, punched their ticket by winning the HBCU Athletic. Second time in 42 years, defending national champ, not going to defend. Last time that was 2001. Simon Fraser won in the previous season. 6 teams have won it all in the past on the women's side. Cumberlands of Kentucky, Kaiser with Lindsey Wilson, Northwestern Ohio, Spring Arbor, and William Carey. Blue Raiders lead the field in both red banners raised and appearances, 4 in 25. Morningside of Iowa ended the longest national tournament drought of any team this year, a 10-year absence. 2 conferences had 5 each, Crossroads and Heart of America. Mid-South had 4. Cascade and Sooner had 3 each. 19 of the 40 have animals as their mascot, eagle being the most common. Wildcats count for 4 schools. Bear and dog add up to 3. So here's who's in and how they got here. We'll go over the bracket in a sec. Aquinas, Michigan, Wolverine Hoosier, tournament runner-up. Campbellsville, Kentucky, Mid-South tournament champ. Central Methodist, Heart of America Athletic, regular season champ. College of Idaho, the Yotes from the Cascade Collegiate, regular season champ. Columbia, Missouri, American Midwest Conference tournament champ. Cumberland, Tennessee, at large out of the Mid-South, same for Cumberlands of Kentucky. Eastern Oregon, tournament runner-up in the Cascade Collegiate. Embry-Riddle of Arizona, at large out of the Great Southwest Athletic. Friends of Kansas out of the Kansas Collegiate, tournament runner-up. Georgia Gwinnett, CAC, the Independents, the tournament champ. Grace of Indiana, Crossroads tournament champ. Hastings, Nebraska, Great Plains tournament champ. Holy Cross, Chicagoland Collegiate regular season champ. Indiana Wesleyan, Crossroads at large. John Brown, tournament champs out of the Sooner Athletic. Kaiser won the Sun Kaiser came in from the Sun as an at-large. Life an at-large out of the Southern states. Lindsey Wilson an at-large out of the Mid-South. Marion Crossroads at-large. Mid-American Christian of Oklahoma, Sooner Athletic at-large. Mid-America Nazarene, Heart of America Athletic at-large, because the tournament champs were Missouri Valley. Morningside, Iowa, Great Plains Athletic, regular season champ. Northwestern Ohio out of the Wolverine Hoosier, regular season champ. Oakland City, Indiana, River State's tournament champ. Oklahoma Wesleyan, Kansas Collegiate Athletic, regular season champ. Science and Arts out of Oklahoma, Sooner Athletic Southeastern out of the Sun, tournament champ. Southern Oregon out of the Cascade Collegiate got an at-large, as did Spring Arbor out of the Crossroads League. St. Ambrose of Iowa, Chicagoland Collegiate tournament champ. Same for Talladega out of Alabama as the HBCU Athletic Conference tournament champ. Taylor of Indiana in the Crossroads got an at-large. Tennessee Wesleyan out of the Appalachian was a tournament champ. The Masters out of California, Great Southwestern Athletic tournament champ, regular season champs in the Appalachian. Truett-McConnell are in. Westcliff out of the Cal Pacific tournament champs. William Carey tournament champs out of the SSAC. Xavier, Louisiana. Red River tournament champ. Now, once again, when it comes to the matchups themselves and the bracket, once again, 40 teams making their way in. It is seeded teams and play-ins. Talladega, Alabama has a play-in with Mid-American Christian, and the winner of that one gets Oklahoma Wesleyan at the 8. It is Cumberland's Kentucky at the 13, playing Columbia, Missouri. Life U out of Georgia is the 12. They take on Tennessee Wesleyan. Hastings and Friends play each other in a play-in. The winner goes to John Brown. That's the left-hand side of the bracket on the 22nd. Right-hand side, William Carey, the overall 2, gets the winner of Campbellsville, Kentucky, and Xavier of Louisiana. Truett-McConnell, your overall 10, gets Cumberland of Tennessee. It is on the low right part of the bracket. Kaiser out of Florida taking on Georgia Gwinnett, and Southeastern of Florida, the overall 11, taking on Lindsey Wilson. And that's it for teams in the footprint. But that low right bracket, Kaiser, Georgia Gwinnett, Southeastern, and Lindsey Wilson. That's going to be a big bracket to get through in the second round on November 22nd. So how did GGC get it into the NAIA National Tournament? By wins at home on the men's and women's side. Here's your highlights, courtesy of GDN. Madison Cruz from the SDH Network, a part of the call.
Hey, ref, it's a goal kick. I know it's a goal kick. Watch this. Uh-oh.
Slip through, immediate opportunity, driving forward, open goal, able to slot it in, finds the back of the net. Henry's running through, trying a diversion, and it finds the back of the net. Send forward. Flick header going the other way. McGuire's going to get there. It's going to speak past Kira. McGuire driving inside. McGuire finds it and makes it 3-0 for Georgia Gwinnett. Stabbed away, though, immediately by Georgia Gwinnett. Driving forward now, the Grizzlies trying to add a fourth one. The Grizzlies inside the 18. Plays it out. Lorenz outside the 18. Lorenz! And there we go. CAC champions back to back to back. The Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies able to beat the Bellevue Bruins 4-2 to claim the 2025 CAC championship.
Given away, and a long effort goes in for the Grizzlies! Who would have thought the long-range chip goes in? The Grizzlies are on the verge of doing something special. Jersinovich scores! The Grizzlies lead 3-0! And they put the final nail in Bellevue's coffin here in the CAC tournament.
So that's your breakdown of what is going on in the red clay. It is time to get geared up for postseason tournaments in the NCAA and in the NAIA. We'll follow it along as we go, as we have in Division III. We don't quite know the home sites yet for the round of the next round in the NCAA Division III tournament. It is tied to geography. So we'll see what happens and what midpoints are and things like that when it comes to travel. And when we know, we will let you know. That's another round of the Red Clay Soccer Report, powered by our friends at NoFo Brewing. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy the games. It's now time for the postseason in the footprint.